Hi, welcome back to My Perspective. I'm your host, and I'm so excited that you're here today. Today, we're going to be talking all about the evolution of friendships you made in childhood all the way until your 20s, the evolution of them becoming stronger, getting away from them, losing friendships, every aspect you can think of, we're going to talk about it today. I've had friends I've been friends with since 3rd grade. I've had friends that I've been friends with since college. And I think the older you get, the different life stages you are in, friendships will always evolve and change. Just like a romantic relationship would, platonic friendships are very similar. And I wanted to just do a deep dive on all of them. I've talked about relationships and friendships a little bit, but just tidbits, not necessarily a whole episode about them. So I'm currently sitting on my couch. I've never recorded on my couch. My back is really hurting right now. I guess that could be my dislike of the week. And my head also is hurting really bad. So I'm trying to take it easy. If the audio sucks, just DM me. But I feel like Emma Chamberlain right now. I'm just taking it really easy, really chill. Today's episode's gonna be really chill, pretty quick, I'm assuming. Like a FaceTime chat with your friend. I felt like last week's episode about how to be a healthier version of yourself was very structured. I had step-by-steps, I had plans. I wanted this episode to be just more comforting, and this would be a long convo I have with a friend. I honestly thought about having one of my friends on to talk about friendships. I never see her, so I don't know how we would plan that. However, let's get into today's updates. Actually, a funny thing is, so I'm currently doing admin and social media for a physical therapist. I've never really gone physical therapy. I've done it once when I broke 6 bones in my feet, and the physical therapist literally didn't know what to do with me because I couldn't, I could stand, but I couldn't do any exercises on one foot or anything like that. So he just put me on a bicycle for 20 minutes and then told me to leave. And so I obviously never made another appointment. Because I'm going to be doing customer support and making appointments, I obviously need to know what a physical therapist does. So I assumed that I would go in and watch them do physical therapy on a client, or they would just walk me through what they do, you know? But no, I get there and she's like, okay, I'm going to have you put on these men's basketball shorts. You know, I'd be totally fine with that, but I haven't waxed my legs, I think, in over 2 months. So I was sort of mortified. And I'm not that girl that just has prickly legs. My legs look like a man's. That's because I wax, so I have to let them grow out. It has been so long because my mom hasn't been free to wax my legs and I don't want to go pay for it. Even my boyfriend's like, oh my God, Shelby, your legs have never been this hairy. Knowing that my new coworker she's kind of my boss. I don't really know. I help her. I work for her as well. Has had to touch and look at my hairy legs was actually mortifying after she tells me to put on the shorts. Then I realized that I'm not watching them do physical therapy. I am getting the physical therapy. She starts doing manual physical therapy, which I never knew was a thing. It was pretty much an hour of a massage, some movement with my bodies, cupping, red light. I now understand why people pay so much money for physical therapy. It is a time of relaxation, and I am so honored, I guess, to say that for my job I get free physical therapy. I'm not quite sure if I'll only get this 1 or 2 times in the beginning because I just need to figure out what physical therapy is. If that's the case, free 2 sessions, fine by me. If this is something I get every month, I think I will die happy. Honestly, something I was looking for when looking for a job was the perks. And I'm not saying I'm going to pick a job because of the perks, but that is what a perk is. It's really nice, and it's just a little additional thank you to all the hard work you're doing. Another update, I went to a Pilates Princess event by Emma Lau. I think Emma Lau. I'm honestly amazed by her because she met Lauren Bossick, who is my idol. She is a podcast host of the Skinny Confidential podcast, wears her workout sets. So, you know, that's really cool. And I've gone to 2 of her events now. I met 2 really sweet girls. I did know a lot of people there, actually. So I feel like I'm actually now starting to meet people in Orange County and build those relationships. So I'm really proud of myself for doing that and putting myself out there. I've gone to a few events recently. I went to an Orange Theory class, and I went to a book club, a new book club, and then I went to this Pilates event. It was so hot outside because we're doing Pilates on the rooftop. So I definitely think that if she does a Pilates event again on the rooftop, she should get more umbrellas around because I was burning up. And I'm also just not that person that goes outside. I go outside, but I hate to be in the sun. So I'm always the one to be sitting in the shade or wearing a hat, and I just wasn't prepared. And I met some really cute girls I'm gonna ask to get coffee or go on a walk with, and then I obviously saw some people I already knew. And then I hung out with my friend Carrie after, who I haven't seen in so long, and I really missed her. But for some reason, I was just not in the mood. I didn't really want to talk. I had a terrible headache, and my back is hurting really bad right now. Sort of like I'm starting my period, but I'm not supposed to start for another week. So I don't really know what's up with me. I think my body's just really exhausted, and I need to give it more time to rest. I have been kind of going ham in the gym recently, which is good, but I also don't know. I need to stop testing my limits, I guess. Your luteal phase is usually around it's usually around like 10 days. But my luteal phase is around 16 days because I have a very long cycle right now. So the first half of your luteal phase, you're supposed to do like weight training, strength training, Pilates, yoga, but a little bit more heavy weights, I would say, in comparison to just Pilates. And then the other half, you're supposed to do more walking, yoga, Pilates, prepping for your period. So I did weights a lot this week, and I think my body's just really tired and I've been really sore. Honestly, my like of this week also goes along with just an update was I did a lot more strength training. I feel like I stopped lifting weights when I left college because I don't have a gym anymore. I definitely have noticed a difference in my body and I feel less strong and more incompetent in the gym. So one of the possible perks of my new job is I do get access to that facility. So I definitely want to take advantage of that when they get to know me better and I start going there more often. But I know I can't do that all the time. I definitely have to be more strategic. So I need to take care of my body and let it rest and not try to push my limits. And then my dislike is just I'm not feeling really well right now. So, but I definitely need to get this episode out. My goal for this year is to be extremely consistent with the podcast. My guest of next week is coming, or my guest is coming soon. I just have to find a time to plan with them. I also am going to post it on social media, maybe questions for them. Oh, I actually did read a recent book. I haven't read a book to talk to you guys about in so long. I read The Holiday, and I actually listened to it for one of the book clubs. I've been listening to it any moment I had a chance to, and it was a super cute story. Definitely should have read it around the Christmas time. I think originally everyone else did. I just didn't get the memo of what the book was, so I read it late. Cute story, nothing special though, but if you're looking for a holiday book to read, recommend listening to it. I always listen to books. I just will go through it quicker, I know. I think those are all my segments for today. Okay, let's just get into today's episode. All right, so we're going to start off with just the beginning of friendships. So when you first are a little kid and you're trying to make friends, if you've ever hung out with someone younger, I'm saying young, toddler, elementary school kid, you notice they make friends so quickly. I just always remember having a lot of friends as a little kid. I definitely didn't have a problem of being shy. I was very outgoing. I wanted to have a lot of friends. I always wanted attention. So as I was a really, really little kid, I had friends from church. I had friends from school, from sports. When I was super young, I did ballet and ice skating. And then I had friends from my parents' friends' children. And I grew up having sleepovers, having play dates all the time. I just remember being a very active child, active in my schedule. And then I also had siblings. So I was socialized a lot as a kid. What's funny is going, let's say, into middle school, because that I'm talking about like preschool. I remember being a preschooler, which is so crazy because I would nanny for kids and I'm like, would they remember this? Do they remember what I talked to them about? Do they remember me as a babysitter? What's crazy to think about, when I was in elementary school, I was that little girl that was always trying to be older. And what's so funny now is I have not changed a bit. I remember, I think we were in 3rd or 4th grade. I was telling my little group of friends, like, guys, we cannot play pretend anymore. We are going to be 4th graders or 5th graders or whatever grade it was. And I was like, we need to grow up and act like 4th graders. Like, what are we doing? Why are we still playing pretend? And I just have always been, I think, mentally a little bit older than my current age. And I think I definitely should act my age and not try to grow up so fast. But it's just funny that my second grade self is literally no different than I am now. Moving to Orange County, I am meeting a lot of people right now, and I literally don't want to tell people when I graduated or how old I am, because instantly I see the flick in their face of being like, oh my God, this girl is so young. And what's crazy is every person I've met here is 24, 26 or older, which is fine. My sister's 26 and we're so close. It's just I really have been meeting consistently the same age of people over and over. And I talk to people and they're like, oh, I thought you were 26, 24 years old, which I take as a compliment. They're trying to explain to me that where I'm currently at in my life is not where the average 21-year-old is at. And I'm having a hard time conceptualizing that because I don't want to be judged for how young I am for wanting to hang out with older people. I don't want them to think like, oh my God, this girl's so young. Why would I hang out with her? I think when I hang out with people my own age, I have a hard time because I'm not into the party scene. I'm working really hard to make money. I have my own, I have my life semi together and I'm a bit more on my own. I'm less dependent on my parents, and I think a lot of people my age. And I'm not saying that I'm better than my own age. I'm just saying that I don't want people older than me to not want to be my friend because of how young I am based off when I graduated college, because if they got to know me, they would realize, oh, I get it. I get why she wants to hang out with someone older because we're sort of on the same, I don't know, we're just on the same wavelength, I guess. And I hang out with my sister's friends all the time, and she's very similar to me as her friends are a lot older than her. Basically, my sister's 26. I went to a book club. How did I go from talking when I was in third grade to now talking to currently? I went to a book club, and I'm pretty sure everyone I was hanging out with was around 26, 27 years old at the table. And my sister's 26. And I'm talking to these people and I'm like, if my sister was sitting right here, she wouldn't vibe with them. She wouldn't be their friend. Not that she's a mean person. They just have nothing in common. I think she's very, very smart, very mature. So when I think of an average 26-year-old, I just assume that they should be more like my sister because she's 26. She's my perception of an average 26-year-old. But then I actually hang out with 26-year-olds or around that age, and I think, oh, I would be friends with you. You're more like me than you would be my sister. And it's really because my sister is a 30-year-old, not a 26-year-old. And it's just more in that space of family, not necessarily in your 20s, she's not really in your 20s anymore. She's just older. So then I started gymnastics. In gymnastics, I had so many friends. So recently I babysat for my old gymnastics coach. That was such a weird experience because I'm obviously all grown up now. She was such a pivotal moment in my life. But she asked me if I've talked to any of the girls recently, and I said no, which is so odd to me because I spent so many hours with those girls. Those girls were my best friends when I was a gymnast. And then all of a sudden you grow up and you're not that close anymore. And obviously we're all in different life stages right now, but we were so close. And I guess it really is hard to keep in touch with people, especially when you've known them at a very young age. What was I supposed to kick them or something? The Kick Messenger app. So I definitely think that we should do a reunion of all my old gymnastics friends. That would be so cool to see everyone and see where they're at in life. But yeah, gymnastics was my entire life. I was closer to them than my school friends, and that's because we just did the hardest things together. We put our bodies through this intense practice and conditioning every single day, and we cried and we had fears and we made goals. You don't do that with your school friends. Gymnastics is such a difficult team building sport. I don't think you can have that bond with anyone else unless they're also a gymnast and had that experience. So I moved to a new school in second grade or first grade. I absolutely loved the elementary school I went to. I went to a private Christian school, and I met one of my longest term friend, Brooke, there. We met in third grade. We had a little friend group, and I also met I mean, we're not close anymore, but I met my best guy friends. It's just crazy how young you are and how friends, when you're that young, you have no alternative motives. You don't care about what they wear to school. You don't care about what their parents do for a living. You don't care what they want to do for a living. You just are friends because you like each other. Brookie and I remember we'd go back to where we'd play hide and seek in her house, and we'd have sleepovers all the time. And I remember I had another best friend at the time. I think her name was Katie. Was it Katie? I don't really remember. No, there was another little girl we were friends with. I cannot remember, but there was 3 of us. I don't know. But Brooke had the most hair bows I've ever seen in my life, and she always wore Justice. She had the most Justice out of anyone in our grade, and I always wanted to wear Justice, and my parents just couldn't afford it. But we would all go to school matching. We'd tell each other what we were wearing to school, and we would all match. And then Brookie would bring us all matching bows. It was absolutely adorable. I hope my kids one day have that type of childhood experience. So in 5th grade, we just had the best friends. I swear, Brookie, I think had a birthday party. She invited, so all of us came over to her house. We had a sleepover. We went shopping. I think we went to Abercrombie and we all bought matching sweats. Brookie's mom actually bought my sweats for me because she knew my parents didn't have a lot of money. Her parents didn't have a lot of money at the time. All the other little girls, one of them, her dad was an NFL player, so obviously it was a little different, you know? And so we all went back to Brookie's house and had matching Abercrombie sweats, and we ended up making these love letters. We wanted to go TP someone's house and her mom wouldn't let us, so we decided to make love letters, and then we put them all outside. His name was Jaden, all outside his house. And then the next Monday we went to school. It was just the talk of the school. Everyone was like, who left those letters for him? Someone's in love with him. And we just thought it was the funniest thing because I think it was 4 or 5 of us girls had made these love letters for him. And he was just one of the guys in our friend group. And this has happened so many times. I don't even know if I ever talked to some of those guys of what we did. And so I made some of the best friends in elementary school. I think me and my friend made love letters for one of the other guys in our friend group and put him in his backpack during class. And it's because I got a love letter from someone, which to this day I don't know who it is. I have a feeling of who it was. It gave us the idea to do it to one of our guy friends, and I put it in his backpack, and then he goes to his backpack during class and starts opening them during a test. And so the teacher, I think it was 2 different classes we did that, or they were just upset and wanted to figure out who it was. So during PE, both of the 5th grade teachers take us outside and has the notes in their hand, and they also took my note because I said that I have gotten one, and they said that some 3rd grader probably has a crush on the boys, and just don't leave love letters in people's backpack, and don't do that. And I'm just sitting there, a grin on my face, knowing that I left them and it was just a joke. I'm not sure if those guys ever knew it was me or not. I don't remember if I've ever told them, but I felt like elementary school was so wholesome. I have such fond memories of the friends I made at that school, and I just hope that everyone I used to be friends with at that young of an age is doing so well. It makes me so happy when I see them on social media sometimes too. So I think childhood friends are just wholesome. There's nothing much to it other than that. I think if you're still friends with someone since elementary school, like I'm still friends with Brookie, it's so crazy to see each other evolve and become humans and have personalities and have careers and aspirations, because when you're that young, you're just doing school, playing on the playground and going to sports. It's all fun and games, and you're just a kid. I really wish I could still be a kid. And then comes middle school. Honestly, I think I have peaked in middle school, and I will never be able to peak like that again. Middle school was also quite interesting. I met my 2nd longest term best friend, Carrie. We met in 7th grade. So wild is I was really close with this girl. I think we also met in 7th grade, but no, we knew each other from church. And I remember her telling me all about this girl, Carrie, who was coming to our school. She was saying that Carrie always got the attention from her because they knew each other from after school activities, and just really bad mouthed Carrie. And I didn't know her at the time. I was like, oh my God, no way. But then Carrie came 7th grade and we became a trio. Mainly me and Carrie are best friends, but we became a little of a trio, which is so ironic. Carrie and I become glued to the hip. We were best friends. We just got along so well. Our family dynamics were very similar, and I think we bonded over that a lot. And I was still a gymnast at this point. But then, and we had this huge friend group. It's kind of funny because when you think of a friend group, you think it happens organically, but this happened in the least organic way. So there was this messenger app called Kick. So it was mainly for people who didn't have a phone. So I had an iPod. Pretty much, I remember in science class, it was me and this girl, Victoria, I'm pretty sure, or Kennedy, one of the girls, and this girl named Brea. Maybe it was one or two of us. I don't know. For sure, I was there. And we had the app Kick, and we're like, okay, let's add everyone in our grade who has this app. Meanwhile, I go to a small private school at the time, so there's not that many girls in our grade. And I think there was maybe 6 or 8 girls who had the app. So we added them all into this group chat, and we called it FAM. And so we ironically created the it group of our 7th and 8th grade. And we were that friend group. We were that friend group that everyone switched off to buy Starbucks. We had sleepovers all the time. We had our own designated table at lunch. I mean, this is how I remember it. All the other girls would sit around our table, not at our table, and want to join our friend group. I remember girls telling me like, oh, this girl, she really wants to be in FAM. And we weren't mean saying, no, you can't join it. We're just like, yeah, come sit at our table then. But they were always too scared to. And what's also funny is we went to school at majority of these girls are a whole elementary, middle school. A few were transfers, but we've known these people for so long. And then we had an extended guy girlfriend group. And I forget what that group was named, but we had group chats. We all hung out together. And this is why I say I peaked in middle school, because we were so cool back then when really we weren't. We were just little kids, but we thought we ran that middle school. And we were a very diverse athletic group. So I was a gymnast. We had dancers. We had volleyball players, basketball players, softball. And then our guy friend group, I think, was basketball. I don't even remember what the rest of them did, honestly. And we all went on the DC trip together. It was very fun until one day. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be telling this story, but one day, the last week of school, I'm telling the story because why not? I won't share names. So we are all telling each other we're going to be best friends forever. Every time we go to spring break, Thanksgiving, we're going to meet up and have a reunion because we're all going to different high schools. So we were determined to stay best friends. Then the last week of school, they get arrested. From my understanding of being an outsider in the situation, and their parents sue them for attempted murder. So we're in science class. I remember this, and we have a view from the windows of the parking lot, and there are cop cars, and I see 2 of the girls in our friend group walking away the last week of school in handcuffs, and I'm literally shocked. Like, what the hell? And they're bawling their eyes out. If you could imagine, our friend group broke up. Honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal to me. I mean, I wasn't involved in the situation. It did cause drama within our friend group. We're not a friend group anymore. That definitely was the first friendship breakup I've ever experienced. And it wasn't my fault. It had nothing to do with me, but it happened. Friendship breakups is so hard just already, but when it's a group friendship breakup, I think that makes it so much harder because it's not only that one person doesn't like you, it's probably a ton of people, especially if you're the one getting exiled. And I mean, a lot of other things happened in middle school too. Me and my friend Carrie, that's why I wanted to have her on the podcast to talk about friendships, because her and I had not been friends, I think 3 times over the lifespan of our friendship. Or maybe twice. No, 3 times. We had not been friends and came back being friends. Every single time was about boys. What I've learned from my friendship with Carrie, no guy is worth losing your friendship over unless you've known the guy longer than the girl. Your boyfriend, I mean. One of the most recent friendship breakups we had, my advice does not matter. The person you're giving advice to, honestly, is not going to take it. And I think I had to swallow my pride because I just thought if this person, my best friend, is coming to me bawling her eyes out all the time, telling me all the shitty things that's happening, and she asks, maybe she didn't even ask for my advice, but I give it to her, and then I see her constantly over and over not take it. It's really, really hard because you want them to take it. You want them to be happy. It's just annoying. Like, I don't want to hear you ramble off and off and off if you're never going to take my advice. And so then we ended up not being friends because because I was so tired of it. I was so tired of being lied to. I was so tired of being disappointed and not being, I just felt like a last resort. And this has happened multiple times. Came back to the friendship. I apologized for my part in it, and I've grown a lot, and I saw her grow a lot. What I took from that situation was my duty as a friend to give my friends advice if they want it, but never expect them to actually take it. I'm just there to listen, let them rant too. They can come to me crying over and over and over again, and no matter how much I want better for them, it does not matter, because they won't make a change until they are ready. And I can't push my friends to do something they don't want to do or they're not ready to do yet. And I think that even deep down, your friends know what they want to do. They know what they should do, but it's a lot easier said than done. They will eventually get there. And honestly, that's something I'm dealing with right now. And I'm learning from my friendship with Carrie that you don't want to push your friends away. You don't want them to feel they're being judged and stop coming to you because they feel judged, because honestly, that will just hinder the friendship. It's easier to be there for your friends when they feel like they have somebody in their corner. And I'm not there to be their mom. I'm not there to be the police and tell them what they can and can't do. I'm just there for the ride. Hopefully it goes well. If they take my advice, that's great, but if they don't, it's fine too. Going along with friendship breakups, my first real friendship breakup was in high school. I never really asked her why we stopped being friends. It more of was I realized how much I was reaching out to my friends, and this has happened twice. I stopped reaching out 3 times, twice with the same person. Pretty much I stopped reaching out because I realized that I was the one always texting first, always asking to hang out, and once I stopped, I never heard from them again. Never again. There was no fight, there was no drama. There was just silence. And I think that really messed me up. And I still think about today if I should reach out to them for closure, if I should just do that for myself. Happened the first time my sophomore year of high school, and then again my senior year of high school, and then again my freshman year of college. What I've come to realize from those situations was I'm never really going to know why, or they're never going to give me a reason that satisfies me. And maybe it was because they were jealous. Maybe it was because they didn't like what I was doing, or there was rumors. I'm not quite sure, but honestly, I'm never really going to know. And that unknown is so unsettling, but all I can do is move forward. And what I've taken from those situations is choose people who choose you, because it's so hard to be friends with someone who doesn't give you that same level of friendship. It's hard losing a friend. I've never had a romantic breakup, but I definitely had my fair share of friendship breakups, and they are so difficult. I can't imagine what a romantic breakup would be like, because losing a friend is so painful. I'm recently still grieving friendships that have happened years ago. I think it's more because your friends emotionally are so attached in such a huge emotional aspect, or if it's just to go do girly things, go get makeup, go get a sweet treat. I mean, obviously I can do that with my boyfriend, but it's not the same thing, and I have a long distance relationship, so it's not like I could use him to fill my voids. I just wish I've never had to experience friendship breakups, because they suck. Something about friendship breakups is I've never fully healed from them. I still think about the friendships that leave me so confused. Like, why aren't we friends anymore? I really don't know what happened. And when I really think back to it, we weren't good for each other. We don't have the same values and goals and where we want to be in life. We're not in the same life. We're not in the same place in life, which I understand now. But in the moment, it sucks. It's like, why am I not good enough? Why doesn't this person like me? Why don't they put in as much effort as me? Or the other side, I've been in a friend breakup, which that's even harder, I feel, because you feel like so many people hate you. And I don't know why I was exiled from the friend group. And I went to college. One of the girls was from this friendship breakup I had in high school. And she was like, I'm so sorry. She was like one of my best friends. And she was explaining to me why the friend group stopped hanging out with me, why they took me out of the group chat, all this stuff. And it was a complete lie. And so then they took out the girl that told the lie about me. But it just was so hurtful because nobody asked me if it was true. Nobody verified the story. And pretty much my senior year of high school, I lost this friend group that I loved hanging out with, that I wanted to be friends with the past 2 years, and that I felt really fit the type of person I was and my personality. I just was so hurt by them. I don't get how you could do that to somebody. I am never that person in the friend group who just does what everybody else does. And it just sucks when there's sort of a leader in a friend group. They're dictating what everyone does and they decide who's cool, who's not. I don't want to be a part of a friend group like that. I don't want to be a part of the mean girls and the people who think they're better than anyone and can do anything, and they're not actually there to support you. They're not your real friends. I think if you're going through a friendship breakup right now, you have to realize that you have to surround yourself with people who also want to be with you and also push you to be a better person. I think time and time again, every time I go through a friendship breakup, I have to realize that I did the best I could with the information and what I knew at the time, and if I were to go over it again, I would do it differently. And I'm also that friend that always will reach back out. So I recently reached out to someone. It was more of like me ending the friendship, and she was just telling me how it was really hard for her and everything. And I apologize because I definitely could have handled the situation better, and I always think back to that. I'm like, okay, this were to happen again, I would totally do it differently. And I always let my emotions get the best of me, or they always just like hit a nerve that's very personal to me. And I was never really taught conflict resolution as a kid, so I was always taught to just cut people off. But I think what's so important is that friends, literally the people around you, is what makes you live longer. Being surrounded by a good community is the most important thing in life. If I was going through a friendship breakup immediately right now, I would probably really focus on me time. I would journal a lot. I would call people to make me feel better. I like to talk about it a lot because my brain just goes a million miles an hour. Majority of the time when I stop being friends with someone or a friend group or something, I have so much more other time for people who really care about me and want to be around me. And I think that's the beauty, is that when you surround yourself with people who don't actually like you, don't want the best for you, you're losing out on the time that the people who really love you would spend time with you and building those relationships, those long-term friendships. I'm not an advocate for breaking off friendships anymore. I'm really not. I'm not an advocate for maintaining them, keeping them. You can't buy long-term friendships, and the only way that you have long-term friendships is by conflict resolution, and that's something that I'm still working on. I don't think that's ever going to come easy to me, but I also know that there's nothing wrong with me. I have long-term friendships. It's not like I don't have any friends. It's just I know I can have more friends and maintain more friendships if I work on communication and being open with people. I think something else I really struggle with is I don't open up to people. I literally don't talk to my friends about what goes on in my life. If they know from social media, but they don't know my deep down thoughts, because I'm just so embarrassed and I don't want to talk about it, I guess. It's just so uncomfortable for me. And I know I shouldn't, they're my best friend, but I've run into that issue of but if you're going through a friendship breakup, really just spend time with people who adore you, love you, want the best for you, and hang out with people who actually want to hang out with you. It seems super simple, but will make you feel better. Literally get off social media too. Don't have your burner accounts, don't stalk them. It won't make you feel good. You just need no contact. They need to just be removed from your aura. Hey, I'm interrupting the episode and coming back in while editing. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about friendship breakups, because I think my head was kind of in a jumble when I was talking about it, and I didn't really say much besides that it sucks. I still stand by that. Whether if it's a mutual agreement or someone ghosts you or not, friendship breakups are so hard to digest. They have other friends, and other friends like them. Maybe they were your only friend, and now you have no friends, and you're wondering what's wrong with you. But something I've really understood is that they have other friends because they're a good friend to that person. And you guys just didn't mesh well, whether it was personalities, values, where you are in your life stage. No matter if it was a big friend breakup or not, you guys just didn't work. And that doesn't mean that they're not a good friend to anybody. I'm sure they have long-term friends. I'm sure that they have someone that wants to hang out with them, and they just have to start surrounding themselves with people who think the same as them, who need the same level level of maintenance. I had a pretty big friendship breakup last year. I think looking back on it, I really didn't know how to communicate how I was feeling. We had different expectations for what a friendship should look like, and we couldn't evolve the friendship into something other than best friends. So I think as you get older, that level of communication will change between two people. The level of expectations you have for a friend might change as well. And I definitely have been finding lower maintenance friends because at that time that friend was very high maintenance for me, and maybe that type of friendship is not high maintenance for someone else, but for myself, I could not handle that intense of a friendship for where I was at in my life. And that goes for physical time together to like communication style to emotional time. Like every aspect, I was not enough. It's really hard to not be enough for somebody because I felt like I was always failing in the friendship because I couldn't give that friend what she needed. In turn, she was too much for me. So I'm sure she had this feeling of like, why am I too much in this friendship, you know? Also, it goes along with attachment styles. I am the disorganized attachment style, and I think you can be in a different attachment style per person. So with Max, I would say I'm secure/insecure. Honestly, with a lot of my friendships, I would say I'm disorganized, which is anxious and avoidant. My most recent friend, she was an anxious attachment style in our friendship. I'm not sure in other friendships. And then I'm avoidant. And that is, if you look it up, is the worst pair of friends to be together because the anxious person will then continuously pester the other friend, and the other friend will just pull more and more away, which is what exactly I did by the book because I was so overwhelmed by the friendship. And because so many reasons why I wasn't able to communicate how I felt, I wasn't able to resolve it. It just didn't end well. I think looking back on the friendship now, like I said, I would do things differently, speak up to how I felt, but looking back on people I used to be friends with, I just think to myself that it all honestly worked out the way it was supposed to. I was really glad to leave college because it felt like a fresh start around people who were a little bit more like me, not surrounded by a bunch of college kids. Honestly, genuinely wish the best for everyone. Okay, I may go stalk you, but deep down, I really honestly hope that your friends are good to you, that your family's doing well, that your boyfriend treats you well. Like, I really don't wish anyone harm. I don't want anyone to fail in life. I really want them to succeed. I think after every friendship, I grow so much. This is why Carrie and I have been able to become friends again because I reached out and we hung out. We are such better people now. It's just so different. I don't know. I guess I take what I learn from each friendship and apply it to my current ones. I think the best thing that you can do when you're having a conflict with a friend is to talk to someone who has your best interest at heart and who knows how to resolve conflicts and who has long-term friends. I know for a fact the people I should not go to for friend advice because they have no friends or because they don't know how to deal with conflict. I need to go to people who have so many friends, have gone through ups and downs with their friends. I literally sometimes go to Carrie and I'm like, Carrie, please tell me what you think because you know me at my worst. You know the mean text messages I've sent you, you know the mean words I say in an argument, and like how obviously nice I am. You know, like she knows both sides of me when we're fighting and when we're not fighting. Tell me what this other person may be experiencing and how can I make the situation better. Okay, another thing that I think is so important when you're having any issues with friends, especially if it's a friend group, is to never talk badly about them to mutual friends. I'm having an argument with a friend. I will go tell my friend who's completely removed from the situation, who has maybe met them once or has never met them, is not going to affect that person's relationship with them because I don't want to affect your relationship with your other friends. That is not my place. My experience with a girl is not the other person's, and they could be a completely different friend. So it's not my place to bring drama into a friend group or into a mutual friend. I think a lot of people don't do that, and I've experienced that in friend groups where they all just kind of will diss one person, and I think that's so wrong because you have a different type of relationship with every single one of your friends. I made it a point to, one, never bring up someone's name I'm not friends with, to a mutual friend. I wish them all the best. It's not my place. And what's also hard about that is you don't know if the other person's doing that. And, I just have to accept the fact that if they're my true friend, if they have been my friend for X amount of time, they know how I am with them and that we have a different dynamic. I definitely go out of my way to talk to other people for just someone to listen to their advice. You can't control the other person's reactions, what the other person does, and that's just life. The whole friend group wants to not be friends with you anymore because of what happened. That's their decision, and honestly, you can't do anything about it now. I will never defend myself, sort of like a he said, she said. I will let my actions speak for itself, and if that person wants to stay in my life, they totally can. If they don't, that's okay. I wish it wasn't that way, but sometimes it is. You just have to remember that we're all doing the best we can. It just sucks. You have to take into account of who they hang out with, who their parents are, how are they raised, and conflict styles and attachment styles, and not everybody's gonna mesh. What's so odd is I went to therapy all of college. I swear to God, I talked about my friendships more than the actual stuff I was struggling with. That's where I knew something was wrong. My therapist would always tell me, like, Shelby, you let people walk all over your boundaries. And I'm not perfect. I know that. And I don't blame other people. I just wish things would have ended up differently, Friendships are just so difficult sometimes, and we're all just doing our best. And I think that's where grace comes in. We're literally 20, 21 years old. Like, we're not going to be perfect. We're all going through things too. I think that's the hardest thing is last year, I was struggling really, really bad with my mental health, and I'm not the person to tell people. A completely different person. I basically kind of hid what was going on. People told me that's fine, in which I still think it's fine. It's my place. It's my comfortability if I want to talk to you. And basically it resulted in that friend thinking we were closer than we actually were, thought I was shutting them out, when really I was going through so much last year, did not have the capacity to hang out late at night or be more available to them. And they thought I was shutting them out, which I wasn't. I just was going through my own stuff and didn't feel comfortable sharing it with them. And we're not friends anymore because I didn't open up. And I think if I did open up to a lot of my friends, we would be closer. I probably would have more friends. I've been burned so many times after opening up, and I'm not there yet. And I don't know if I ever will be. Also, the gossiping in friends drives me insane. I mean, I think gossiping is a normal human thing, but when you're gossiping, say in a friendship breakup and you guys are all gossiping, just do it to people who don't know each other, who's irrelevant to their life. Don't do it to their other friends. I think that's so messed up. I will always talk to my friends who are not in their life. I will never talk to another friend about a friend that we're all friends with. That's so messed up. Especially if it's actual crap, not just oh my God, did you hear what happened this week? You have to kind of evaluate. Try your best to pick up your head, work on yourself, journal, go to the gym, eat well, work on your career, work on your current friendships and new friendships. Try to let that friend go, as hard as it is. Let him go. You've got so many other things going for you. Hopefully they mean well to you as much as you mean well to them. And I'm always that person that wants to reach back out and just catch up because they were such a pivotal person in your life at one point. And I think that's totally okay. And if everyone's comfortable with that, I recently had a girl that I was really close with in high school reach out to me. She just wanted to catch up and I think get some things off her chest. And it was so great. I'm totally an advocate for catching up with someone once a year who you used to be close with and you're not anymore. Okay, well, you guys can listen to the rest of the episode, but that was just more of my take on friendship breakups. It sucks, you guys. It really does, and I've had way too many of them. I think I've just had a lot of friends in my life, so it just comes with some friendship breakups. Another thing I wanted to talk about is transitions in life and transitions in friendships. I think it's so valid for you to not be as close with people. I think another issue I've run into is that I have transitions in my friendships all the time where we go from best friends to never talking to acquaintances, or not even acquaintances. I think best friends are overrated. I don't think one person can be everything for you. I think you can have a large variety of friends who fill different voids for you, and expecting one person to be all those types of people is not fair to them. Even my boyfriend doesn't fill every gap I need him to. So how can I expect that in a friend? We're not superhuman. And so I think it's really normal for friendships to evolve. My best friend Brooke, we were best friends, and then we didn't really talk much. We were still friends, and then we became best friends again. And then right now, I still consider her one of my best friends, but I really only talk to her when I'm at work, or I'll send her a random Snapchat video all once in a while. But we don't hang out very often because we're just in different life stages right now. I'm in my career, I'm post-grad, and have a long-term relationship, and she's single and still in college and doesn't know what she's doing post-grad. So it's just like we're in different life stages, and I don't expect her to be available to me 27, and we're both so busy. And then there's my friend Carrie, where we've also been friends since middle school, and we've gone to best friends to not friends at all to back to best friends. I also consider her one of my best friends, but she lives in a different city than me, so different county than me, so I don't see her very often, but we're very similar life stages. We have the same interests, we have the same values. I think obviously I have plenty of more friends, but I think you can go from being best friends tied to the hip to just hanging out every once in a while. I guess that kind of goes along with low maintenance friendships. Low maintenance friendships are the best thing I've ever heard of. I'm an ambivert, which means I can be social, but I still need my time alone. When I went to college, I realized that I am not an extrovert. I need time alone. I need time to process. I also had a long-term boyfriend, or a long-distance boyfriend, so I needed time to talk to him. Couldn't have that typical best friend, hang out 24/7, do everything together, tell each other everything. I literally just couldn't keep up with it. And so I started to build low-maintenance friendships, and even my bestest long-term friends just kind of expected this from me. We'll text you every once in a while. I'll rarely call you. I'm not super big into calling. We'll hang out whenever we can. I don't expect you to see me every single week. I don't expect you to see me every day. I don't expect you to text me back right away, because I physically can't do that. I know I can't, so why would I expect someone else to do that? To me, low maintenance friendships is being super secure in your friendship, knowing that you're still friends even if I don't respond to you right away. We're still friends even if I can't see you every single week. I still know that I'm best friends with Brooke even if I haven't talked to her in months. And I know that's a little extreme because we both have other friends and each other. I'm just in a place in my life where I'm so exhausted. I have so many things on my plate. I cannot be there for you as if a boyfriend would. I have a boyfriend. I don't need another boyfriend. I can't manage that many people. I have more than one friend, so I can't be that one best friend for each of them. They have to find that within themselves. And I also think it's super important to have friends in the same life stage as you. You can relate better. You can help each other through situations you're both growing from. It just makes more sense. I'm definitely closer with the people that I'm in a similar life stage as right now. And I know that will always change because in your 20s, people get married, people are single, people have babies, people are traveling the world. I just need someone that's doing something similar to me. Not all my friends, but I just need a few. And also, it's really important to have friends who live near you. That's why I'm really pushing for myself to make friends in Orange County, because a lot of my friends live in San Diego and SLO and other states, and it's so important that you have friends near you for that blip. I want to go do this, or I had a bad day, can you come over? Experience things together. It's really important to have community. I don't think we were meant to do life alone. Another type of friendship is long distance friendships. I have quite a few long distance friendships. For instance, one of my friends lives in Tahoe. I see her every couple months when she comes down to LA, and we're pretty close. We chat every couple weeks. I see her on social media all the time. Long distance friendships are very hard to maintain. For some reason, I have so many of them. I think just from going to college and social media, and also some friends that I've met through Max and baseball life. It is so hard to maintain because it's all over text or social media, and texting and social media causes a lot of anxiety for myself. I think that's why I'm so bad at responding to people. But I think if you have a long distance friendship, it's really important for you to keep in touch, whatever communication style you like. Also know that when you guys see each other in person, it reminds you of why you're friends. It's completely valid to go a couple weeks without talking to them. You could still be friends. I think you just need to be secure in yourself, in your friendship, that you're still friends, even if you haven't heard from them in a while. Or I know for a long distance in a romantic relationship, what helps me is knowing when's the next time I'm going to see them. So I guess I could probably work in a friendship too. And then just keeping each other updated on the significant parts of your life, jobs, friends, just life events that are really important to know. And then I've kind of already talked about ghosting from a friendship. I think it's pretty messed up. I don't think you should do that. I've had that happen to me literally 3 times. I think those are the friendships I'm literally traumatized by. Ghosting someone just in general is so messed up. Tell them or just slowly distance yourself. Don't literally just go MIA. It's kind of messed up. Another thing is like boyfriend drama. Kind of already talked about that, but no guy is worth losing your friendship over. I think both parties just have to understand that it's bigger than the two of them, and you just gotta let someone do what they want to do. Going forward in my life, I'm trying really hard to maintain the friendships I have and go out of my way to let them know that I'm thinking about them, that I love them, that I care about them. I've been trying to just call my friends more, just out of the blip if they can answer, plan trips with them, plan for them to come, and also making new friends. It's so important to just plan things with them, get to know them, be intentional, don't go on your phone, ask some actual questions, listen. As independent as I am, I still believe that I need friends around me. I've met so many great people this past year, and I'm so grateful for, and I just hope that I can stay in touch with them and build upon those relationships. And I'm really trying my best. If you're friends with me, I love you. Honestly, this episode was all over the place. I think friendships can be messy, just like this podcast was, and friendships are something that should be valued. As I said, even as independent as I am, I still value my friends so much, and I'm so grateful for them, and I really do wish that eventually one day I'll have more time and energy to give them. And I'm so grateful for the friends that currently understand where I'm at in my life and love me for who I'm currently am, and not expecting me to be more and expecting more from me that I can't give them. I guess are just content with who I'm at the moment, because definitely one of my biggest insecurities is never being enough, whether that falls within a relationship or not. I definitely am always wondering what people think of me and my friendships and all that, and that can be a very negative spiral. So I definitely am grateful for the friends that I have and excited for the new friends that come into my life. I hope you guys liked this episode. I know it was a little bit more unstructured and more of a FaceTime chat with me over learning something. So if you listened this far into the episode, I'm so grateful for you. Please share the pod with someone if you liked it. Share it on social media. Follow the social media. It's Shelby on TikTok, My Perspective Pod on Instagram. Rate the show 5 stars. I hope to see you guys next week. Bye.